So what I was thinking about, right, is that I need to quit my job and I'm going to be a meteorologist, because that by far is like the easiest thing to do in life, because all you have to do is like make up some bullshit. Right?
No, you have to tell what the weather is.
Nah, like serious. All you got to do is make up a little bit of bullshit, because that's all you got to do in life. So,
because everybody expects you to be wrong?
No, because I can go on and be like, yo, there's a 50% chance of rain today. And who knows if that shit's true or not? You know, like 50% is I mean,
the National Weather Service, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can say it, but like today. So today, prime example. It said 80% chance of rain at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. came around, no rain. 80% chance of rain at 12 noon.
But how do we know it didn't rain somewhere?
Because when you look at your app, it says for your area. So like in the area, it says, okay, well, in your area, it's going to be 80% chance, you know, because your location service is on your phone that's being tracked by the government. So they know exactly where you're at.
Throw that one in there.
You did have
by
to
the government.
So
it calls back to the sheeple argument.
But so what I'm saying is, like, it's literally, I pay you $50,000 a year to basically be like, yeah, it might rain today. How might 50%? Oh, that's good odds. Like, no, that's half. You know, so at an 80% chance of rain, it didn't. I mean, like, you have a better chance of catching AIDS than figuring out the weather. Like legit.
I get it. As somebody that is like kind of a fan of that kind of stuff, I do realize that the science to it is a little bit more, and it's very hard to be specific about it because of ever-changing conditions. But yeah, it's not a perfect science. I don't think it'll ever be perfect per se. And yeah, a lot of times they're more wrong than right. So this is a profession where you can absolutely be wrong a lot, and they're just like, whatever.
I love how you brought science into it. Like, yeah, as a fan of the profession, I'll do this.
No,
hey, I'm just saying, like, it's easy way to make money.
If,
you know, because they're never right. The hurricane is going in one of these 800 spaghetti models, right? Which one is going to? Nobody fucking knows.
Exactly.
Right? Because nobody can predict the weather. They tell you that from like as a child. You can't predict the weather, yet we pay people to predict the weather. Why do we waste our government funding on weather people?
I would say what you're saying is deeply offensive to all our meteorologist fans, but we ain't got regular fans, so the chances of us having meteorologist fans are probably as good as it's gonna rain tomorrow.
so we only
Florida, it's gonna rain.
We only
anyway.
We only got one new follower in all of this, so we have only one fan. So it's onlyoneFan.com.
What,
sir? That was me.
Only one fan.
OnlyoneFan.com.
What about our friend in France?
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Two Dab Crew podcast. I am Baby Powder, joined by my brother from another brother, Andre.
Yo.
And we have a special guest today. Introduce yourself to the podcast community, sir.
I am the legendary raconteur, Jean-Pierre de Oleon de Saint-Fleur, Ergoff III.
Please.
You may call me Ergoff.
Please.
So,
thank you.
DJ Will is not here today. He is focusing on making a fire track for us.
So I have a question. I love our cold opens. They just open in the conversation. If we get an intro, does that mean we got to stop doing that? Because then it kind of ruins it.
Listen, we got to get a track from him first. So he told me he's in the studio. He's working on a track. It's going to be fire. That's what he says. We'll see about that hopefully next week. But not with us today, but we are joined by a special guest, sir. I'm glad to have you on the podcast.
I'm glad to be here.
So we're coming to you like basically live from Orlando, right above the protest going on today.
That's
you can sigh, whatever. I mean, like I don't want to touch too much on that.
I was gonna say we have a tendency to
sensitive subject,
right?
But we're watching the protest from our bird's nest, basically high enough where the T-Rex can't get us, like in the Lost World.
That's true.
So before we get into anything today, which I hope somebody brought a topic. I don't have to be the only guy doing shit around here. I I went to the mall the other day, and I swear to God, like I was driving on the road, and it says, "Don't stop at the toll. We will bill you."
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm sitting there like I'm like, damn, Florida really got their shit together, you know? Like the only people on the road during this pandemic were your first responders, your essential employees, and if Florida ain't got enough money, they like, yeah, y'all keep going to work. We still go bill your ass though afterwards. Like Florida really need to get their shit together. You know what? Like you should have just fucking like during a hurricane, we're gonna stop tolls. Y'all need to get the hell out of the state.
Right.
But when it's a pandemic and it's like the only people supposed to be on the road are your first responders, your essential employees. Guess what? Y'all could go through the toll, but we still go bill that ass later. Like we go, we're getting that money back somehow. And I'm just like that. We not like the Breakfast Club. Like Charlemagne got the donkey of the day, but if we did have some shit like that, the state of Florida is gonna be my first nominee, and I don't know whether y'all agree or not.
So I agree, but the question is, can we get followers by either A, biting the Breakfast Club, or start clowning them, and then start a beef? That's what rappers do, right?
They don't want these problems because my roast game is sick.
Oh, you heard that? You heard that South Beach Beer Company challenged Charlemagne the God to a roast off.
So for everybody listening, we did record a podcast last week, but the iPad and everything else didn't record. So you missed all the great plugs for SouthBeachBeer.com, which is our first, like, not official sponsor, but we're kind of like co-signing the sponsoring of them. So it's our first sponsorship.
Right.
Do
you remember the last podcast where I said we're going to get a sponsor by the next podcast? I'm delivering more than DJ over here.
So with speaking of the podcast, right? We do have a fan in France that I can't figure out who it is. They listen to all 8 episodes, so we're internationally known on the microphone.
Excellent.
We also have those in different area codes.
Yes, we do, because not only did we get France and we had Germany and Japan, but now we have the Ukraine and Portugal.
Oh. Impressive.
And sources tell me the Ukraine was, what's her name? What's the first lady's name?
Melania
Trump. Don't quote me on that because my source was a hobo in front of the 7-Eleven. But his sources seem to be pretty good.
Did he follow you?
No, he didn't.
Well, damn.
But we also had somebody stream all 8 episodes out of Nevada.
Nice.
Which I know nobody in Nevada. But you know what? If you're listening, when this shit is over, I do need a place to stay when we go to Vegas. So
I was going to say, it wasn't me because Vegas is closed.
He would only be there to gamble his life earnings away.
So
yeah.
So what magical topic did you bring to the podcast to talk about today?
All right. So I was talking to one of my homeboys, right? And he got upset because his girlfriend got upset because he has a pocket pussy. She has dildos, but he got himself like a pocket pussy. And then she got real heated and pissed off about it. So is he an asshole for having a girlfriend full-time, they live together, but still using a pocket pussy when she has a dildo? What do you think?
You want to play on this first, or should I?
I think that he is not. I think that if people are going to go with self-pleasuring aids, it has to be something that is uniformly allowed or uniformly not allowed. And so, how dare you tell me that I can't do this when you're doing? I mean, hypocrisy is hypocrisy. Let's be honest. Hypocrisy is one of the most frustrating and disgusting things that a person can do.
You're getting too much into it. Just what do you think of the situation? Like, is it fair for her to be upset?
No, it's not fair. I mean, because again, and if she is upset, then she needs to ask the question, well, why do I have
Yeah.
what I have.
I'm glowing on this topic.
You like my topic?
Right. I'm glowing on this topic. So here first we need to know the facts. So who's your homeboy? What's his name?
Oh, those weren't the conditions.
Does he listen to the podcast?
He does not listen to the podcast.
He doesn't listen to the podcast. All right. Does his girl listen to the podcast?
No,
so please, when you see him and his girl, tell them both that if they want their relationship to succeed and they don't want to catch AIDS, they need to listen to the podcast, right? So that's plug number one.
I don't think that statement's been approved by the FDA.
What does his beard game look like?
He doesn't actually really have a beard.
Well, then he needs to go to southbeachbeard.com and get his beard game on point. Plug 2.
King of plugs.
Number 3. So here's the breakdown of this topic, right? Mm-hmm. 1, woman has a dildo. Cool. Is it for her self-pleasure or is it when they get freaky in the bedroom?
Both.
Okay, so she uses it to masturbate and then they use it when it's time to play with both holes.
Yeah.
Got it. 2, he got the pocket pussy, right?
Yes.
But he only got it because she's not putting out enough. So if she didn't want him to have the pocket pussy, then she need to be giving that ass up a little more frequently because he wouldn't need to self-pleasure masturbate unless 1, that pussy ain't all that, or 2, he wasn't getting enough.
It was more of a, hey, I've never done this. Let's do this.
Yeah, but the difference is that he only pleasures from the pocket pussy. Where the dildo or the toy, they can both pleasure from because he can use it on her or, whatever.
She can use it. She can work that superhead like double fisted.
Listen, I don't know how many women you've been with in life. It's still a mystery. But like fucking Scooby-Doo could solve this shit over here. But if the pocket pussy feel better than the regular pussy, it's time to move on.
I think man, I think you nailed it. Like, I don't even really want to add to it because that statement stands.
I love this because I'm fucking in like Flint. I'm a kill topic. Go ahead, give me the next. No, this is like self-help. Like literally, their relationship is so fucked up right now because they're sitting there complaining about she complained about him using this and that, and all that question was I bet you not popping that real pussy as often as he needs you. That's why he needed that plastic shit.
All right. So let's take this to the next
Listen,
level.
like, no, before we that, like, it's so many provocative women on the microphone nowadays, like Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj, and you can go back to Lil' Kim, like, they all was freaks, and then they be specific on what they want, too. So, you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be no secret. Like, if a woman mad that a dude is masturbating, that means you got to give it up more. That's like if a dude was mad that the chick was using the dildo, that means, he either need to go get one of them Austin Powers Swedish-made penis enlarger pumps to get his shit right, or he need to start digging it down. They say it all the time. Like, if you don't fuck your girl right, somebody else will.
Right.
It's the same thing for women, though. If you don't take care of your man, you know what? Somebody else will. At least she should be happy that he's self-masturbating over going out and fucking the neighbor.
So then, again, let's elevate to the next level, and I have a question. So, like, if you find out just like randomly you at work and like a dude's like, yeah, man, I got this pocket pussy. It's great. It's whatever. People are like, oh, nigga, you can't get no real pussy. But if a chick is like, yo, I have this dildo. It is my best friend and I use it all the time. The reaction is completely different.
Is it? So when you
unless you slip in there, you're like, well, you don't use that dildo.
So put yourself in this situation. Chick at work tells you got a dildo. Are you not completely intrigued at that point? Like, and thinking about all types of nasty shit.
Yeah, but I'm a nasty dude.
What do you think? I mean, it's because if a woman is comfortable enough to mention that to you, there's two ways we're gonna think. We're gonna think, oh, she's talking a little freaky. That's something personal, and I got a shot. You know what I'm saying? Or, you're having a visual play out in your head of her using it, especially if she's hot, Well,
but that's what I'm saying. So, like when a dude talks about he got, like, a pocket pussy, like, I'm looking at the dude first, like, do you get chicks? You probably don't get chicks. Right?
Right.
So that's at that point, I lose interest because you don't get chicks.
Disclaimer: this is the male view of this.
Look, listen, this is my view on this. Like if I told a chick I had like some type of masturbation tool, she'd look at me the same way. Right? Because women don't understand how different it is. Like a woman could go out there and open her legs, and no matter if she got a stench or not, somebody gonna get it.
Right.
A dude could go out there, whip out his dick, and he gonna be on Pee Wee Herman status for the rest of his life. He gonna be fucking.
You're live 500 feet away.
You can't be nowhere near no children, no schools, right? You think about getting Girl Scout cookies? They got the girl station from the Walmart. You can't even go shopping and get laundry to wash your dirty ass drawers at that point. So. It's definitely.
Which, I need you to run to Walmart for me.
It's definitely. I mean that. But in that subject, like real quick, if you don't like your partner masturbating, then you need to make sure they satisfied sexually.
Right.
I don't think it's such a big deal unless it's like something that somebody does all the time. Because let's be honest, a lot of times it boils down to convenience and
value.
It's like, okay,
a fucking bodega over here.
I want, there's an investment of time that I have for this particular session is 5 minutes, and I know if I go 5 minutes, you're gonna be like, what? That's it? Let's go longer. So it's like, okay, this is masturbating, be done.
It's also just part of like general self-care. You trim your beard, you using South Beach Beard Company, and then you shampoo your hair, and then you bust one out.
Your plug is no good. Your plug looks like bad hair game. Oh. Like LeBron shit before he got it fixed. Like that's how bad your plug is.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Right? He hit you with the spray on.
Oh, yeah.
You got that one day hair where you just spray it on. Who did that? Homer Simpson?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Them was some dark times, man. And that headband just kept going further back.
He was looking like the Chinese dude from that game he was just playing.
Wow.
So but at that case, if the woman's probably feeling self-conscious because he's probably playing with this shit a little more often, and she probably thinks that I
don't know all the details. I just know the basics of the situation.
My shit isn't good enough for you, so you went and got a plastic one. But and no way, shape, or form she should be thinking like, well, maybe I'm not taking care of my dude right. Let me do something better. It's the same thing with a chick. Like if I came home and see my chick all the time, like masturbating, then I would have to sit there and start asking a question, like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on?" Or if she started
pull up a chair and start watching.
Not all the time though. If it becomes a routine thing, again,
maybe she's a chronic masturbator.
Okay, but that's when communication comes.
But you could masturbate. There ain't nothing wrong with masturbation. But the point is, if you get to the point where you want to masturbate more than you want to have intercourse with your mate, then that's the problem. Right. So again, like she feeling some type of way because he got it and he obviously needed it to the point where he's keeping it. Unless he's a collector and keeps it like bad pair of shoes. So anyway, whoever the fuck it is, listen to the podcast, get a little advice, and I hope your relationship gets better.
This is actually kind of reminding me of the episode of Blue Mountain State where Thad
they were passing it around. Oh, that was terrible.
Oh, it was so terrible. He was like,
terrible.
I give you my pocket pussy.
It's terrible. But, yeah,
man.
You're not allowed to share masturbation toys.
Yes.
All right, that was discussed. The whole football team, including the coach, was using it, bro. That episode was just
but now I'm thinking about this, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how elaborate was that plastic pussy he had? Like, was it just like one of those like little like fleshlight things, or was it like the whole like you see how they make the whole like torso and shit now?
Yeah, got butt cheeks.
It's got butt cheeks.
And then jiggle like a Jello mold.
Girl come home and dude sitting there bouncing on it, listening to Genuine Pony, pat, pat, pat.
See, but now I have a question. How come they don't use like those sex dolls that actually look like women as mannequins in stores instead of like the old school like 1980s plastic mannequins?
Because kids still shop in stores.
What? It'd be clothed. They just chop off the head.
Who's gonna spend $4,000 or $5,000 a pop on a mannequin?
What happens when you pop a tag in the mall and you're like, give me that shirt off the mannequin? It's the last medium. They take it off and that shit's got realistic nipples. How do you explain that shit to the little kid with his hands up on?
You can't shop off the mannequin.
Milk.
You can't step off the mannequin.
You can't do that, man. That
what
shit-
size is the mannequin? That's not your size.
You can't have
Kids will be
it.
stealing mannequins from the stores.
I mean, because then you'd have to start putting panties on the
I was
mannequin
gonna
and
say,
shit.
because you got the
You run up on one of them, it's got a little string hanging out the bottom. Be like, yo, it's the time of the month for the mannequin.
you walk by the mannequin and little Timmy is just now starting to realize he like women. He got his hand up the mannequin's skirt.
Yeah.
Actually feels a pussy. He's like,
A little moist.
right.
You notice an influx of little boys shopping with their moms.
Mom,
No.
Mom, you going to the mall?
You go to the mall? You go to the mall?
Oh, so I'm gonna drop that subject and move on to something else real quick.
All right.
So bring it back to life a little bit. Little post Corona. Like a lot of
Corona though.
well,
really?
like we're being reintroduced into society, and that's the point I get at is people being reintroduced into society. Like I'm gonna tell you some of the shit I can't stand right now. Like during the pandemic, when people were staying home, it was so great driving, and there'd be almost no fucking cars on the road.
Yeah.
Right?
That was excellent.
Now, people are back on the road like they fucking forgot how to drive. I mean, I can't tell you how many times the mobile's been sideswiped or fucking traffic. And it's like, what the fuck? Being home for 2 weeks, you forgot how to do basics.
Yeah.
Right? Stores are packed again. You're sitting there. Like, life was so much better when people were staying home.
I feel like it's way too abrupt. I feel like if you don't need to be out, you still shouldn't necessarily be out all the time. I do get cabin fever, but I feel like it was like, okay, we're going to open up some things. And then all of a sudden everybody was just like, phoom. Because we went to the mall today just to get one item. We're like, okay, we're going to go through the store entrance and we're going to get there and out, pop in there and out. And there's like 1 billion people in there. It's like you couldn't even 6 feet apart if you wanted to. It's too many.
Yeah, but what if I'm supposed to do sitting at home and I need to take care of my beard?
You go to southbeachbeard.com.
Oh, okay.
We'll send it to you.
That was a good assist.
Yeah.
Steph Curry and Klay Thompson over here.
Right. They alley-ooped it. It was right there.
But I think about last week when we were doing the photo shoot downstairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in downtown Orlando, and it was quiet. There weren't a ton of people out, and it was like you could actually enjoy the city because there weren't a lot of people there. Granted, everything was closed down. It would have been nice if they were open.
Right.
But you could walk the sidewalk. You could ride scooters. You could do whatever the hell because nobody was out there. Now it's like it's fucking chaos all over again. Like people, and I get we have to get back to things, but people are being reintroduced to society, and they acting like they don't know how to fucking act.
Well, no, they're acting like they always did. We just didn't notice it because it was an everyday
It was
occurrence.
the norm.
We got a taste of what it was like. Oh, this is nice. We're still in this large metropolitan city. Everything's still popping. Well, I mean, you still have, everything at your disposal, but it's really nice that we can enjoy those niceties that disappear being in a city like this. And so that's my take on it. It was always this way, but having something different for a while made us realize that.
But I think like the whole virus made us realize like there are a lot of aspects to life that are just like real dumb. Like being on a plane, like basically me sitting in someone's lap so they could get a few more people on the plane. Yeah. Like that's outrageous. Like now I think about it, I'm like, I don't really want to be that close to anybody.
Do you think society is overpopulated?
No. I think certain areas are.
We cluster ourselves, but we cluster ourselves because that's where stuff is.
So
and stuff was there. If you notice back in the day, a lot of these places, a lot of these large cities were port cities.
Yeah.
So like it just went from there. So any place that had a port city is now a major metropolitan city. If it was a trading hub, a railroad hub, a sailing hub, whatever, these are now our major cities. And people just didn't leave because the more people was there, the more things that came, the more things that was offered. And then, eventually it turns into something like New York where you just have to stack people on top of each other.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, are we encouraged to be this overpopulated in aspects? Because, again, like here you have buildings that are 30 stories tall, 50 units of floor. Like you were inviting the overcrowdedness, where it's like, you know what? There's so much extra area out in the open where you could kind of, spread it out to where you're not. I mean, downtown Orlando is just like downtown Miami. Like,
right.
It's ridiculous. And it puts you at risk later on, because if you look at what happened in New York, the virus spread so much because it's so congested.
Right.
You have so many people in there, it's so hard to control something. It spreads so rampant. Now, if we were spread out, because you're in an area like here in Orlando, you have surrounding areas like Kissimmee, which have, because they're not developed by businesses, that they're not being developed by like living situations. So like if you spread the businesses out, then you would also spread the population out, and the people wouldn't always want to come to downtown Orlando, because guess what? Downtown Kissimmee looked just the same.
But I also feel that it's also a matter of convenience. A lot of times when you go out somewhere that's not as congested, you don't have access to the things that you have when you're in a hub. For instance, where we are now, I'm on the 24th floor. I can go right downstairs and go to a 7-Eleven and get anything that I need as far as that on a whim. I can go right to the edge of the block and be at Walgreens. I can go right a block over and be at a tobacco shop to get hookah supplies. I can go another block over and be at a Dollar General. There's a train station right down at the mouth.
But why would you even leave the house at this point when you can go to southbeachbeer.com and get all your beer needs? Plug 3. That is epic,
bro.
How many are we contractually obligated?
I
think he's having fun doing it, and I'm having fun hearing it.
It's just like the modeling, man. I just do it for the fun and the free shit.
Oh, okay.
You can keep the money. I just want the free stuff. But I get what you're saying, but I mean, there are also like things that have nowhere to do in the city, like a Walmart. You won't find a Walmart in downtown
because you don't necessarily need a Walmart.
But then you overpay.
But
places like
people
Walgreens
pay for convenience, and that's the thing. Most people that are here are also going to be able to afford the lifestyle.
The other thing you have to consider is commuting to work, right? So yeah, like you said, the businesses aren't developed out there. I could live out in Lake out west past the Popka. I could live out there. But then I would have to drive all the way into Orlando and have an hour and a half commute each direction.
Yeah, I worked in Kissimmee and was living in Winter Springs, and that wasn't fun because that was an hour 15-minute drive one way. And then, that was with traffic, but the traffic was frustrating and made the commute even worse.
I'm just saying that, like, living in a place like congested like this puts us at more risk down the road. Right, because then you'll know, because they still can't figure out whether the fucking virus came from a bat or a Pokemon. Like, they're still trying to figure that shit out.
That's Japan, not China. First off,
listen,
and also I'm more worried about the reinfection.
First of all, let me tell you something. Almost everything is made in China. All right? Yeah. So if you think the Pokemon ain't manufactured in China and then shipped to Japan, you out your motherfucking mind. Because you can pick up any Pokemon toy, and I guarantee you that motherfucker don't say made in Japan.
I'm glad you said toy, because I was wondering if you thought Pokemon were real.
Look, them Pokeballs, the Pokeball, the Great Ball, and the Ultra Ball are all made in China. The only thing made in Japan is the fucking Master Ball, bro, and you only get one.
You do know Pokemon aren't real, right?
Listen,
despite what your phone shows you.
All right. So anyway, let's move on from the virus outbreak. Let's talk about something crazy, right? So I saw this 3 little boys in some country in South America all took turns letting a black widow spider bite them in hopes of turning into Spider-Man.
Did it work?
Wow.
Yes. Yes, it did. It worked.
Which one of them?
Of course. Come on, bro. So
I need to know the outcome. I'm sorry. I need to know the outcome.
They all got sick and they all got vaccine. They all lived. I mean, like, there's no fatalities here. But the thing is like, have you ever thought about doing that shit? Because I swear, I've been there a couple times and I'd be like, yo, man, I wish a spider would bite me and I would get superpowers like Spider-Man.
So never specifically Spider-Man, but every time I've had an X-ray, an MRI, or anything that requires
thought you were gonna become the Hulk?
I'm like, is this how I get superpowers?
I don't know why, but I have very biteable skin, so insects enjoy biting me. Don't know why. Mosquitoes love me. Any insect that bites really loves me. So every time I get a spider bite, I'm like, am I going to become Spider-Man? But I don't willingly go out and do this, no.
Spider-Man is like a tie for my favorite superhero behind Iron Man. Like, they're kind of like tied. Like,
I'm a Thor guy.
I like, and to me, like, Iron Man technically had no superpowers. He was just super smart. Spider-Man also super smart, superpowers. Both of them talked a lot of shit, which is like right up my alley.
I like Thor for that reason.
I never noticed in the number of episodes in 20 plus years that we've known each other.
What's your socks looking like?
Pretty good, actually. Pretty good. This one I walked around a little bit more in.
Yeah, they're a little dingy.
But I laughed at the story when I heard it though. I was like, all right, these kids is
that's a good.
These kids is dumb. But I was like, damn, like that would have been me though. Okay. Like if I would have seen some spider and a picture of on the post looked like one of them spiders from like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like with the big fat thing on the back with the little red stripe and shit. It looked like it was gonna give you some superpowers. I mean, they probably got a super trip, through it, like almost like taking like mushrooms.
So I grew up in the country, and we were taught at a very young age to leave that kind of stuff.
See, but that's the question.
So
where were these people's parents? Like, what were they doing? Where were they at?
I mean, kids play. Kids
whose fault is it at that point? Is it Spider-Man for telling a story for 40 plus years, or is it the parents for not watching?
You know what? Rest in peace. Rest in peace. I blame Stan Lee because you know what? None of that shit happened in the DC universe. All they bullshit superheroes from the DC universe were all crap. Why you looking salty right now, my man? Because I see it in your face. You look salty as fuck, like you like a DC superhero, but they was all bullshit. Batman was bullshit. Batman is super bullshit.
Sir, you're out of pocket right now.
Batman was a rapist. Like,
whoa.
Listen,
Batman that's a strong accusation.
Listen.
That dude.
Okay. So let's break it down.
Back it up.
I want to let's refresh this. Right, this is a great topic.
Okay.
So, Superman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man of Steel, Justice. When did he fight crime and save people?
Whenever.
All day. All day.
Uh-huh.
Right? All day he was out there. Day, night, whenever. He was out there. When he wasn't using his X-ray vision, the spy on Lois Lane, his ass was out there saving heroes or masturbating with your friend's pocket pussy. Here's the one or the other. Aquaman, when did he fight crime? All the time, right?
Sea crime,
but really all crime? The time, right?
Look at me. I'm the captain.
Not according to Aquaman.
Not according to Aquaman. He has a few questions.
He could have saved Captain Phillips from the Ethiopian pirates, but who else is from DC? Wonder Woman fought crime all day. Anybody, whatever.
Hooked up with Superman and Batman.
Batman.
Right.
Batman only creeped around at night. Now, what do you call people who creep around at night?
In a mask.
In a mask, dressed in all black.
Goons. Goons or coronavirus law-abiding citizens?
Listen, the shady crimes happen at night. The real crimes happen during the day, right?
He did those too.
No, but he didn't do anything during the day.
He ran a multi-billion-dollar company.
So when did he
sleep?
Actually,
Lucius Fox. Fox ran the multi-billion-dollar company.
No, you think about some Christian Bale Batman shit. I'm talking about some DC Batman shit.
Lucius Fox wasn't DC.
Listen, I'm telling you, anybody in any age was walking around at night wearing a mask at night, dressed in all black. You would cuff your pocketbook, hold that shit tighter, grab your pistol. You would keep your children close, and you would run.
So if because of all those elements, doesn't that make it necessary to have a hero fighting at night?
No, it
How
doesn't.
do you know he's the hero? What's the difference between Batman and the villain?
So you tell me Metropolis had no crime going on during the day?
all the time.
I mean,
He was out there stopping bank
just
robberies
look.
at the-
Okay, so let's go into
during the
cinematic, right? Look at the second Batman movie, The Dark Knight Rises, right? That movie started with a crime, right?
Mm-hmm.
When?
I don't remember.
During the day, the Joker and them drove that school bus right into that bank in the middle of the day, walked out that bitch with all the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guess where Batman was? Nowhere. Why you think Batman don't keep a girlfriend? Because he too busy getting all that pussy at night.
Listen.
He don't need to keep a chick during the day.
Listen. Jim Gordon got things during the day, okay? He's awake. He's not asleep. He's fresh off his Ambien rest the night before. He got it. Jim Gordon's a badass. He's got it.
Jim Gordon be standing next to that fucking bat like shot that shit in the air like, yo, I hope I get saved tonight.
What he's really doing is like, all right, player, I'm fixing to go home, have me a scotch on the rocks, pop an Ambien. No. We need you because I'm going home.
The true story was Jim Gordon flashed that bat signal in the air at night to warn women to stay home that the bat was on the prowl.
So I guess the question is, Batman, rapist? Possibly. Stay tuned for next week's episode where we'll present additional evidence.
Listen, I'm not going to stand for all this DC hate.
It's not hate.
So
we're asking questions.
Listen, I like Superman, but the origin of these heroes from the DC universe were nothing like the origin of the heroes from the Marvel universe. The Hulk got hit with gamma radiation, turned into this big green unstoppable shit. You know what? He taught you can be angry. You can beat shit up when you're angry. That's what happened to Mike Tyson, and he was a heavyweight champion.
And now he's coming back.
If there was no Hulk, there'd be no Mike Tyson.
I think the approach is different, but I think people can't understand the approach as much as others. People do want to see themselves. They want to see flawed characters. They want to see something that they can identify, which is why Marvel is so hugely popular. However, do you really want a flawed hero? Like,
yes.
If I had because here's the thing. If I had to choose between somebody that struggles with something or somebody that does the right thing every time, I'm going to pick the person that does the right thing
Who
every
in
time.
the DC universe is not flawed?
I mean, they paint more perfect.
Superman got an affliction of one woman. He sit there and stalk her.
Mm-hmm. In several iterations.
The whole DC
several iterations.
The whole DC universe got skeletons in the closet. That one day on 2020 special is Barbara Walters gonna pull them shits out, and when she do. When she pulled them skeletons out the closet, you gonna be like, "Yo, I never thought of that."
Wonder Woman exposed for OnlyFans page.
Whoa.
Okay, I will say that the writers that were the writing for it, some of them did have some problems because some of that was very stalkerish. Some of it was borderline racist. Some of it was just outright disturbing. And he was a dick to Jimmy Olsen.
What's crazy is Batman was mouth pain away from doing blackface at night. He had the black mask on and everything.
Do you think that's why they never did his mouth? So they
think about it. If you look at like Robin, when Robin put on the mask, they always had that black shit around his eyes to keep his skin color out. Why didn't they do that to Batman's mouth? Because it would have been blackface. He would have been right there with Drake.
I'd be damned.
So, but you never think of that. Like you just think, like DC's origin of these heroes. Batman saw his parents murdered at night in an alleyway. Like what the fuck was they doing in that alleyway? The only people I know in alleyways tonight are drug dealers.
They were buying crystal meth.
They might have been.
They left the opera was all like,
where you think the fortune
Bruce to bed and do some meth.
Where do you think the Wayne Manor or the Wayne fortune came from? Everybody started somewhere. I was gonna say snowwhere, like Jeezy the Snowman. Like, you don't think Bruce Wayne father was that big time drug dealer?
Yeah, He was the one flying in from Colombia.
Yo, he owned the city. The only person I know owned Metropolis like that is Jay-Z.
So
Jay-Z owns
We get
Metropolis.
You know, Metropolis was a play from New York.
we get it. You hate DC. So
I didn't
tell
say
us why
I didn't say
Marvel's
I didn't
so
say
great.
I hated DC. I said that you said that everybody likes a flawed hero, and you were trying to say that the heroes from DC weren't flawed, which they are. They have serious psychological issues.
Batman,
They haven't
Batman's
been.
everybody's favorite because he does have
I
serious
hate
issues.
I hate the fact that Batman's everybody's favorite because Batman is a manipulator. Batman's
He
so
is.
smart. He know how to cheat the system. He
Yes.
sit there. Or Batman's ploy is to put heroes against each other. Like how
Accurate.
he not the real villain.
Accurate.
He'll sit there and he'll plot. Oh, I'm gonna set Superman up to fight Martian Manhunter.
Yep.
I'm gonna hit that motherfucker with
Yep.
some kryptonite. I'm gonna hit this motherfucker with something, and I'm gonna be the. I got the kill switch. So he blackmails all
He has
these
an
other
entire
superheroes.
vault on how to take down every hero
Of course.
that he's ever worked with.
But how is he not the real criminal of the whole universe?
Well, now he's not my favorite. My favorite is Wonder Woman. Honestly,
You mean the xenophobe
Wonder Woman kind of hard to.
/ racist Amazons /
Wow.
sexist Amazons?
I think when you say Amazons, I think of those big chicks from Futurama. We smoosh.
we're not going to go there with Wonder Woman.
I'm just saying.
We're not.
I'm
We're
just
not having
saying.
this discussion.
I'm just saying.
We're not having this discussion. You will not besmirch my Diana. Okay.
Diana, Princess of North Korea.
Listen.
So
you will not besmirch her.
So remind me of that in a second because we need to come back to that. So anyway, again we trailed off topic, but again the origin of Marvel heroes, right? Iron Man took a slug to the chest like 50 Cent.
Right.
He came back, right? He got rich or
Or
died
died
trying. Spider-Man bit by a spider suddenly gets
That's
agility.
kind of cheesy though, bro. Let's be honest.
What?
Let's be honest. We've all been bit by spiders. None of us have
Listen,
turned into
okay,
spiders.
so
it was a radio.
It was a radio. It was a bioweapon that bit him. They were genetically engineering spiders to fight the Nazis, and that shit bit him.
So in other words, they were trying to turn all the Nazis into Spider-Man?
No,
they
they
were building them to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
They were gonna
what
fly.
happened.
Look, I found secret plans. They were gonna fly a jet over Germany and airdrop these spiders into their country,
thank God
and they were
they
gonna go
didn't.
bite everything. And then when winter came, it was gonna freeze it up. And that shit didn't work, so Corona happened. There's one for you.
Anyone
Okay,
ever tell you look and sound like Alex Jones?
so let me tell you. All right, so get Spider-Man. He did that. What other hero? Hulk, gamma radiation, big green.
That's Marvel.
Guess what? Heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson. Right? He came from the Hulk. Who else we got? Thor. Thor was a god from another planet. But
Now, I love Thor.
But he was an outcast. That's why they sent his ass
Because he was
there.
a cocky asshole. He was a Chad.
Hey,
What other heroes we got? A Black Widow.
Russian spy.
Prostitute turned hero.
Right.
Scarlet
right?
Witch, I mean, I know all of these people.
Vision, robotic android.
That was a villain.
Captain America. The first known juicer in America.
Government steroid user.
But let's be honest.
But those are all like unique origins. Superman came from a planet. He has superpowers.
Okay, so isn't that...
Jesus. Sorry, no, he wasn't Jesus. He was Moses.
Batman, rapist with a bunch of tools. Wonder Woman, overly butch Amazon.
From North Korea.
I don't know about all that.
We're just going to call it North
I'm just
Korea.
saying that Marvel had some weird origins, but that's where like
I think
the real imagination
I think
came out of
there's
it.
a very biased skew on the origin stories because all of them, in one way or the other, have holes in them. But I mean, how neat you say, Wonder Woman, this, that, and the other. How cool is it that she's from the same planet, but you can't even get to her homeland? That's
You
pretty
mean
cool.
like North Korea? I'm not going to let that go.
Dennis Rodman is there all the time, so you can get there.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna give you a moment to think that through and ask yourself: do you really want Dennis Rodman as your shining example?
I want to.
He's there all the time.
I'm gonna break Pandora's box for you all right now.
Oh God!
Right.
Go.
So the other day, I'm on the internet. Right. I'm doing my usual shopping.
Caution.
I'm doing my usual shopping on SouthBeachBeard.com, and then,
bro, I bow down to you. You are the king of the plugs. I've never seen anything like it. This shit is off the chain.
Plies ran off on the plug twice. I've done it 4 times already.
Okay.
All right. Catch me at the Ritz-Carlton. But anyway, so I've seen these things made, and they say made in Korea. And I'm like, what? Wait. Korea is not a country. There's North Korea and South Korea. So when you tell me you're made in Korea, what fucking part of Korea?
I was thinking that in my head. I was just
what
like,
fucking
Korea?
Where in Korea were you made? Like, am I supporting North Korea or am I supporting South Korea? Because people bitch all the time that they don't want shit from China because they don't want to support China. They want American-made shit, which I could care less where the shit is made. It's made. Whatever. It's cheaper on Amazon. Cool. So what? But when something says made in Korea, nobody sits there and second guesses like, wait, North Korea or South Korea?
You are not wrong.
You're not wrong.
So take LG appliances and LG stuff is made in Korea.
I think that is South Korea
but they don't specify.
South Korea.
South Korea hosted
the Olympics.
The Olympics, the Winter Olympics, and wherever was it? I forgot where
Seoul.
It was. Seoul. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And LG was sponsoring it, and they made a whole big thing about it.
But I know, but he's right because I know there are times I run into South Korea stuff all the time, and it never says South Korean. When people talk about it, they never say South Korean. They always just say Korean. Or Korea.
I think it might even be an effort to make it seem like North Korea doesn't exist almost. Because think about it. There's a trade embargo. We're not going to trade or deal with him.
Bullshit. So, that dude gets crowned all the time.
But
people,
what I'm saying
people
is
colluded with the Ukraine.
Right.
Channels.
How do you know North Korea is not the next one? I'm just saying, for people to complain about stuff not being made here and being made there, and when you see North Korea, nobody bats an eye.
That's because the president doesn't bat an eye.
There's only I would say, and I don't quote me on this because again,
quote him on this.
I'm still trying to figure out
#2DabCrew podcast
where Batman is lurking right now.
He's probably on that building right across from us, perched, looking at you.
But
very disappointed, mind you.
What that booty look like?
You're a booty warrior.
There aren't many frowned upon regimes left in the world. North Korea is one of the only ones, right? And you ask Dennis Rodman, they're good, but Dennis Rodman also, dresses up like a woman.
Practically all of them in Africa.
But so if North Korea is that bad, then why don't people don't want to buy from North Korea? Because you get people who don't want to buy from Vietnam, it's from Vietnam, or it's from China, but nobody cares if it says Korea on it, and they don't even ask. Like for me, if I was South Korea, I would specifically want my shit to say made in South Korea, so you don't confuse me with the people in the North, because you may not buy my shit.
Super valid point. We go crazy for made in USA, and then technically, everything was manufactured someplace else, and then
some of it says made in America,
stitched on the logo.
Which America?
Well, it says
there's only one America.
Or you see, made
there's North and South.
Assembled in the USA with global parts.
Right.
So the parts are all made all over the place. We just put that shit together.
Or we slapped on this tag that completes the manufacturing process.
Oh. So that just took me to that when you were talking about, and again,
how did we get here?
Because you talk about Wonder Woman being from North Korea because you can't find it. Nobody's ever been there.
Right. We can't just.
I can't shit on Wonder Woman too much. I'm sorry. Superman.
Thank you.
Superman is one of my favorite heroes from DC. right? He did right. He tried to help everybody. He self-sacrificed. You know what I'm
A
saying?
little pervy sometimes, but I guess
Listen.
we all are.
But
Pot me kettle.
you know, Batman definitely needed some psychological help. But the point of all of it was the origins.
Tony Stark needs a little bit too. Let's be honest.
Listen.
Yeah, but everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one topic I want to take, you know, my dude always telling me, we're going to shout out to Franklin. Franklin knows who he is.
Oh. Is that the name we're going with now?
Nah, Franklin with the bad haircut. His haircut game was so bad we call him Franklin the Turtle now.
Oh wow.
But he was telling me about a friend of his, right? And I hope his friend ain't listening. But it was funny because we was getting into things. He was like, you know, he got a friend. They go out. They do dude trips, right? Okay. So they go out. The group of them. They go somewhere. A dude was in the strip club and asked how much a water was. And then when
didn't just order the water, he asked specifically how much it was.
When the chick gave him the price, he was like, "Can I have some of yours?" or something like that. Like he was looking cheap, right? And you know it makes the other dudes look bad. You know, obviously, you got a whole entourage, right? Because now the chicks is like, we not popping no pussy over here for you. So you definitely need some pocket pussies at the end of the night.
Jesus.
I know a distributor.
She looking at y'all like, no wonder y'all beards ain't tight. You need to go to southbeachbeard.com and get that shit right.
This man.
Sir.
This man.
Obviously, the name of this episode is going to be southbeachbeard.com. That's going to be the name of episode 9.
Is this episode 9?
This is episode 9.
What about the episode we lost? Was that
shit is lost.
Those are the
lost episodes.
Unless you want to hear me talking for 2 hours about R. Kelly and his endeavors, that episode is lost.
The last episode was off the chain, though. I enjoyed that one.
So anyway, so it brought me to a subject of do's and don'ts in the strip club. And I've always told myself I'm going to write a book someday. It's going to be called Memoirs of a Pole, right? Etiquette in the strip club.
I like that.
So it's like a do and don't guide for dudes on what to do in the strip club. And I don't want to get elaborate because I need to put this shit to a book. So you know, all you people who can't read, you can audiobook it on Amazon. You know,
who's gonna do the audiobook?
Morgan Freeman.
No,
we can get him on Cameo.
Listen, I can just.
I don't know who, but I'm gonna get somebody. But anyway, so I was like, yo, like if you gotta ask for the price in the strip club, or if you gotta ask for the price in the club, you're in the wrong spot.
Right.
Agree?
Probably should have stayed at home that night. Agreed. I think, and that's partially part of the reason why, you know, like I feel like people overextend themselves. Don't be in the club looking cheap. Don't be in the strip club looking cheap. Don't be at a restaurant. Don't be out looking cheap.
Well,
there are instances though.
You don't be looking cheap.
It's not. To me, it's not cheap. It's knowing where you're going. So again, like the strip club is like this like shady ambiance where nobody in there is who they say they are. It's like being in a room full of heroes in the DC universe. Cause you walk in there right from the get-go, you pay a cover most of the time, right? So why would you want to be yourself in a place where the chicks don't even give you a real name?
You mean her name wasn't Mercedes?
And Lexus.
Diamond.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the first rule. So dude, with the asking for the water, first thing you got to realize, one, is you're no longer yourself anymore. Nobody cares if you're the deli man at Publix and the strip club, you have to make up a persona. Because every one of them chicks got a persona. None of them chicks is telling you, I got 3 kids and I drive a Toyota Corolla and I'm barely getting by and I'm dancing here. Like, they'll tell you some bullshit. I'm stripping to get through school. Why are you 36?
Still stripping through college at 36?
What school are you going to?
Phoenix,
did you not? Did you,
Phoenix, Arizona?
Did you not hear my podcast on how you don't need college to be successful, baby? check out my podcast. Look at my beard, how clean it is. SouthBeachBeard.com.
I hope strippers you're visiting don't have beards. What kind of strippers are you visiting that got beards?
A chick will trust a guy with a good beard.
That is true.
You know what? Let me chime in on this. You're doing an excellent job, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, and, back in my day, we used to frequent a strip club once a week. Right? So every week we would go to the strip club. Now, we never went there for the women, right?
Atmosphere.
We went there for the atmosphere. It's a good place to hang out. And we did it on a Tuesday, right? This was before, what's his name? Mannequin?
Going up on a Tuesday?
Before the club was going up on a Tuesday, we were actually in the club on a Tuesday. I got a homeboy that will verify.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm. It's also Miami, so every day is a club day.
So we would go into the strip club, and again, I get $200 in ones, buy a couple beers. We would sit at the stage. Girls would come by, throw a couple dollars at them, and keep it moving. All right? We're sitting there having conversations. We just like the ambiance of the women dancing. But what really made me love that place was the amount of hate I could spread. So I would sit.
I know exactly what he's talking about.
I would sit
really
there.
Funny.
So, say Diamond was going on her set. Diamond comes out. She starts dancing. There's a guy over there with $1 bill. $1. Like, waving it in front of her like she's a dog trying to get a treat. Like, come here. He would wave that dollar. And she would do her little thing where she would put her legs in the air and shake it. He would throw her the dollar after a little bit. Thought he was a big man. Like, ooh. I called the chick over, throw her like $10, $15 and be like, yo, ignore him for the rest of your set. Let me get back to my conversation.
You're a super villain.
It that brought me pleasure. Like, I just ruined your night, sir. Like, then he would sit there with $1. She wouldn't come back to him. He had to leave the stage. Maybe go home and beat his wife. I don't know what the guy does.
He is Lex Luthor.
Yeah. And remember,
that's
Lex Luthor actually loved Superman. So,
but that would bring me joy. Granted, I'm not even looking at the chicks. And the thing was that persona brought chicks to us, right? Because now they're like, who's this guy throwing, $10 at me, whatever. Now next thing you know, all the chicks who weren't dancing were like surrounding us. And we would sit there and have games with them. We would be playing like, oh, whoever could like balance a beer bottle on their butt would get, $5. It was just fun. Right, and it nobody cared. Like, they wouldn't even be naked. They'd have on their, whatever, their little stripper outfits and shit. But we was just there, just having a good time. It's the same thing like being in a bar, except I could shit on people when the time came to it.
You don't know how powerful or amazing you feel until you see a dude simping, just throwing cash at a chick. She gets off stage, and instead of going to him, she comes to you instead.
Well, they weren't throwing cash because she wouldn't go back.
The dudes that do,
because I mean,
like, it's pretty dope.
I'm not a frequenter of the strip clubs, and that's not because of any reason, just because that's just not my deal. But I do know that power dynamic. I do frequent nightclubs a lot.
Yeah.
And you get the similar rush when you go into a club and a girl that has seen you the night before leaves her boyfriend and runs up to you and gives you a hug. You're like,
there's a reason we don't live in Miami
I
anymore.
saw that happen. I won't comment on the situation. My friend listened to it. I don't want to put his business out there like that.
Okay.
But all right, so anyway, back to what I was saying. Back to the whole conversation at hand. Right? There's do's and don'ts, right? But when you go to the strip club, you got to know what you're getting into.
Of course.
Right? It's going to cost you some bread. If you ain't got the bread, don't go.
Don't end up getting, a lap dance you can't pay for and got to go to your homeboy and ask him for $20.
Like, again,
that was over $100.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was not me. I'm just saying.
Listen.
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Nah, that was not me.
Side-eyeing the shit out of you.
Listen.
Right now.
Dude asking how much the water was in the strip club. Please don't go back to the strip club till you understand that you need to show up with some bread.
Right.
That's it. I'm gonna end this podcast with a Baby Powder's Miami tale.
Ooh, these are always
right.
good.
The story of the Yes Man. I believe I've told you this story before. You know this story.
Yes.
The viewers don't know this story. Got a homeboy of mine. Right? When I left Miami, we had a going away party. So we went to the Hard Rock in Hollywood. You know, we was having fun. I was with another dude. He ended up getting kicked out the club. He didn't do anything wrong. He went up. He's a 5'6" white dude. He went up to a 6'5" black chick. He said, "Hey baby, how you doing?" She said, He said, "Okay." He sat down. Bouncer told him he had to go. Obviously, dude's out of his league. You must be drunk. So you got to leave. He still wanted to have fun. We weren't completely drunk. So it's like, oh, you know what? We're about to leave. Let's go to the strip club before we leave. You know, again, we went to the strip club for the atmosphere. We didn't go there for the women. So we go. Dude passes out in the back seat. We get to the club. My dude, Blaze, I'm putting you out there like that, says, what do we do with the dude in the back seat? I said, leave him. He'll wake up. He'll see we're at the strip club. We'll go inside. I go inside. I know the bouncer. We're there enough. Hey, what's up? I got a dude in the car. If he wakes up, let him in. We get in the club. We're over there. My dude Blaze strapped at that point. Hey, I'm going to go make my rounds. I know a couple people here, bartenders. The dude in the bathroom will always be selling you the
like
Black and Milds. I'm going to go say goodbye to a couple people, and I'll be back. I buy him 2 drinks, give him a $20 bill, and a Black and Mild. I go, I make my rounds for a couple minutes. I come back. Well, actually, I don't come back. I'm walking, and a chick grabbed me. She said, hey, he said you was going to pay me. What you mean I'm going to pay you? He looks over her shoulder. He's like, Hollywood, you got me? And I'm like, got you what? He owed me $100. I said, for what? For VIP lap dance. Of course, I didn't have the full 100 on me, so I had to use the ATM in the strip club, and get that, which was a $20 surcharge. So thanks, strip club, for getting me. So we leave. And I had to ask him, I said, bro, what the fuck were you thinking? He said, I don't know. I was sitting there. She came up and asked me if I wanted VIP, and all I could say was, yes. Yes. Moral of the story is, don't spend your homeboy's money and then never pay him back, Blaze. I still want that $100. You owe me. I don't know where you live, but I'm sure I'll find your ass at some point. And with that, gentlemen, we're going to end the podcast, but not before I tell you, if your beer game ain't right, please go to southbeachbeer.com, because it's 2020. If your beard ain't looking straight, then your manscaping probably ain't straight too, and that's going to tell a chick a lot about you. So if you want her to go down on you, get your beard right, southbeachbeard.com. 2Dab Crew Podcast. All social media platforms at BP_2Dab, and all podcast platforms 2Dab Crew. And peace.